Let's talk about the paid up additions rider on a whole life policy that you would use for infinite banking. Hello and welcome to the Durham Talents channel. My name is Jesse Durham. For today's installation in our EncycloMedia series, we're going to discuss the paid up additions rider, its premium, what happens to death benefit, cash value, dividends, etc. Now let me start by saying that when Nelson first started practicing infinite banking in his own life, and he was codifying the concept, discovered the concept, codified it, he actually began implementing infinite banking with plain whole life policies. And I've actually had an EMS, an EncycloMedia episode on the base policy and the base premiums and the base death benefit. So he started infinite banking with plain whole life insurance policies, just using base premiums. So make sure to check that episode out. But when you can build a policy with additional riders, such as the paid up additions rider, it does behoove you for implementing infinite banking, and for many reasons. Now, let me also say though, that folks don't necessarily always qualify for this rider to be attached to a whole life insurance policy. Actually, some folks don't qualify for life insurance for various reasons. I've also got an episode on what if I'm uninsurable in this series, so make sure to check that out. But sometimes you might even qualify for a whole life policy, and yet you can't get this rider. So that's why I mentioned Nelson's own experience, because at one point in his life, he was uninsurable, and yet he still did infinite banking, and you can too if that's the case. Also, he did infinite banking with policies that didn't have this paid up additions rider. But when we can add the paid up additions rider, we're always going to add almost always going to add the paid up additions rider. Every case is different. Some folks want base only policies, believe it or not, and for good reasons. But when you are looking to have the paid up additions rider on your policy, one great reason to have it added to your policy is it helps create a significant early cash value on your whole life policy that's been built for infinite banking purposes. So whereas a Dave Ramsey will jump in and say, well, that whole life policy, it's not a good place to put money. It's not going to have a high liquidity. It's not going to have a significant cash value for 5 years, 10 years. And he could be right if it were a base only policy. But when you have that paid up additions rider, you get to do several things. So when you pay paid up additions premium, first, I would suggest that you know that that is a flexible number typically. Now, be familiar with your insurance company, your particular policy contract, because if you skip a year of paying into that paid up additions rider, because it is flexible, there may be a catch-up provision, there may be some limitations. So there's a lot of flexibility that you have. It is your contractual right to be able to pay premium into the paid up additions rider of your policy and have it buy more death benefit for you and have it build cash value. So one great thing that paid up additions premiums do is help build a significant cash value early on in the policy. So it's a flexible premium. It helps create more cash value early on in the policy. It buys less death benefit though than premium dollars do. So $1 of base premium is going to buy more death benefit than $1 of paid up additional insurance. Now, I've talked about policy splits on this channel and proper structure right here in this EncycloMedia series. So keep going to learn more about those topics. But just know that premium dollars into the paid up additions rider buy less death benefit. And we know that going into this because we have should have a robust base premium on top of a significant paid up additions rider premium, making your total premium. And there may be term and other riders as well. So money could be going to other additional riders on top of the policy, the base policy itself. But the premium that goes into the paid up additions rider, which is the flexible portion, builds early cash value, would buy additional death benefit, but not as significant of a ratio as base premiums. Also, it will not earn the paid up additions rider premium, will not earn as significant of a dividend as the base premiums will, which is just worth knowing. But it's attached to the policy early on so that we can begin banking right away. In the very first year of owning a properly structured policy, you can be infinite banking with that policy. Now, just as that paid up additions premium builds early cash value in a policy, it's actually the base premiums that create a greater cash value later on in life as that policy matures and as that policy becomes more and more efficient. It's the base premiums that are creating multiples of the dollars being paid in premium in cash value. Because remember this, at the end of the day, base premiums, paid up additional premiums, those premiums that we pay into a policy create this death benefit and this cash value. And that cash value must eventually equal what the death benefit amount is. And when we can pay additional PUA premiums and we increase the death benefit, that means we're going to also increase the cash value. And those numbers can be moving. They can keep titrating up. They don't have to stay static, just like base premiums create a level death benefit. The paid up additions can be increasing the death benefit, and because the death benefit increases, the cash value will increase as well. And you can earn bigger dividends by paying additional paid up premiums into the policy. Just this week, I logged in online and paid 2 additional premiums, because that's the flexible portion of the policy, on 2 of the policies that we own. So we want to fit in as much additional premium as you can. There is a limit there. That limit's called the MEC limit. I've got a video on that subject as well right here in the channel. So here's my suggestion. If you're doing the deep dive on this terminology, on these aspects of a properly structured policy and its utilization for infinite banking, make sure to check out this playlist where I'm going over these terms so you can have practicable information to begin infinite banking or to level up your infinite banking. And you can always find me at DurhamTalents.com. Live and leave a lasting legacy.